At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis Jah.
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis Jah.
And I am Anthony Sia. In this edition of the Hour of Politics here, I focus on Liberia, hosting welcome and a pleasant welcome to you in cyberspace. Joining us now, do us a favor and share the broadcast with your contact. The Union of Liberian Association in America is our umbrella organization in the entire diaspora. It has a national president, vice president, and all other positions you can imagine. They are our leaders. They always have election to decide a group of people to lead us in the diaspora, to provide leadership that will be transparent and effective to represent us as a people. This is a serious organization, or it should be one. It's actually the leaders are here. They will tell their story. My business is simple. Give them hard time small so they can talk small. Welcome. Well, we have as seated the national president, Mr. Kamara, who has been the captain in the ship, and his able lieutenant, Ms. Minerva Grant, is also here, and other leaders who are seeking other, viable positions in the Union of Liberian Associations in the Americas. I will welcome them individually. We will start with the president, the national president, Kamara. My friend, it's good to have you. How you doing?
I'm doing good, Mr. Sia. Thank you for welcoming me, and thanks to you and the leadership of Focus on Liberia for inviting us and having us on this platform again.
All right. I have to start with you before I get in trouble. Say respect to be man, right?
You always got to do that.
Ms. Grant, it's good to see you. How you doing?
I am fine, Mr. Sia. Thank you very much for welcoming us, and we are happy to be here.
All right. Well, we have Alex. It's good to have you. Alex will do things differently with the rest of you. You are here. What is your full name, and what position are you vying for in this union, please?
Thank you, Mr. CA, for at least welcoming us here and hosting us for the second time in this whole uh, tough election we're going to be facing. My name is Alexander Akubazi, and I am the current National Financial Secretary for ULAA, and I am vying for the position as the National Eastern Regional National VP coming this election in September. And I'm asking everyone to vote for this thing because this is the best thing to lead this union at this time.
Thank you very much, Alex. Vying for the position of Eastern Region Vice President. That means you want to be the big man for the Eastern region of the union. Thanks for picking up that challenge. I know it's a huge responsibility. Let us get to Stephen.
Mr. CA, just before you go, I know we have a limited time, but indeed, yes, you are correct. I want to be the big guy in the East Coast, and that also will give me the leverage to my president so that he can be having all over the nation to be going from place to place. And that is the reason I want to take on this position. Other than have been there, have filled the union, and it's about time for us to play our role in the East Coast and notify Mr. CA that in the East Coast of ULAA makes ULAA. In ULAA, the East Coast has 10 chapters, and that is the highest chapter in the union. And with me becoming the next Eastern Regional VP, that makes a difference in ULAA. So we are big in ULAA, and they are not saying it. So I want to bring that up front from the background where it's being hidden so that they can see that the East is very powerful in the union.
So, what is your goal? If you can state it as briefly, as concisely as you can.
Thank you for asking that question.
You indicated that. Let me my question. You indicated that the East Coast there is almost the lion's share of ULAA.
That's
but
correct.
It has not been as vibrant as anyone would want it to be.
That's correct.
So, what is your goal? As briefly as you can state it.
So, yeah, some of my goals. And this is what actually motivated me to say, I want to be the president in the East Coast.
Right.
In the union, if you remember, this current administration has been struggling to bring unity in other chapters, more especially within the East Coast. That shouldn't be the responsibility of the national leadership as the president, the vice president doing good things. That should be the responsibility of me when I become the Eastern Regional VP. My goal is to make sure that we are united. My goal is to make sure that those chapters that are not part of the union because of other conditions that have made other administration to let them go, to bring them back, because the union depends on this chapter. Without the chapter, the union is nowhere. So we need more chapters to come in instead of driving them away. It needs somebody like me who is willing to travel from place to place and be able to talk to them so that we all can come together and make the union the better union that it will be forever.
And finally, for those who don't know, this Eastern region, what are the states that make the Eastern region?
All right, for those who may not know, the 10 states that make the union right now, my own state, the Washington, D.C., the capital and the political seat of this nation we stay in. Philadelphia, the state of the brother-in-law, where we're going to be hosting this all for the 49 convention and where we're going to be elected. Connecticut, New York, Staten Island, Buffalo. New Jersey had 3 chapters. They have the North, they have the Central, and they have the South.
Thank you. I was asking for the states. Don't get yourself in trouble with the chapters now.
Okay, so the states, those are chapters. The states are New Jersey, New York, Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, Connecticut.
You mentioned New York?
Yeah, they mentioned New York.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Besat. I appreciate you for bringing that clarity to that. Let's get to Mr. Stephen Bernard Senior, running for the position of Secretary General. Talk to us about your position, what you intend to do, and introduce yourself, please.
Thank you. See, good evening to you, and let me say good evening to our brothers and sisters watching and following us tonight. Regardless of where you are, I like to say a pleasant good evening. Uh, my name is Stephen Bender. I live in the state of Pennsylvania, and I am running for the position of Secretary General of the Year of Liberian Associations in the Americas. I've worked with the Liberian Association of Pennsylvania, my home state organization. I started off working as the Assistant Secretary General. Later on, I became appointed as the Acting Secretary General, led my organization to an election that produced the first female president in the history of our organization. A few months ago, based upon our work, we were called by the national president of ULAA to serve as Deputy Press Secretary, a position we now occupy. I'm running because I believe in the vision and the leadership skills of Honorable Joshua Kamara and Madam Minerva Grant. These two individuals, they have brought the unimaginable transformation to our community and our organization at large. For the first time in our country's history, we can celebrate the passage of a dual citizenship bill, a bill that provides a freeway for thousands, if not millions, of Liberians across the world to fly to their homeland freely without being subjected to a system known by every one of us as visa. But not only that, honor his leadership and that of the Honorable herself, Honorable Maneva Grant, we've seen the unprecedented unity train being swept across our states. Uh, you will be, amazed by the level of work these two grandsons and daughters of our country have done over the last 22 months. Months and years back, our community was at each other's throat. But today, we are seeing the emblems and semblance of unity, all over the place. That happened because of their own leadership skills. And not only that, today we can talk about the inclusion of the state of Arizona. Arizona wasn't a part of ULA. Today, Arizona is on the table. That is the credit to them. As we speak, there are discussions on the way for the state of Delaware and other states that are not part of our union to come and join. So
And
when you
Mr.
gotta
Bernard, you are on this team, the show maneuvered team,
correct.
running for the position
All
of
right,
Secretary
I'm
General.
following you. I'm on the show.
What
Yeah.
are you bringing,
Following these things.
if and
So
when elected, that will transform the Secretariat to make the team you support more effective in bringing them closer to the community, specifically from your end?
yeah, just before I answer your question, I'll first like to provide the context, and that's the context I was providing. So when you look at all of these achievements that have been made by the Shuru Kamara leadership, uh, are coming as a support system to his dreams and aspiration. As an individual with a background with communication, my job will be there to support his leadership, making sure that we have a very strong and workable secretariat that will provide that support system to the leadership in ensuring that programs and activities are done in record time. Uh, I've worked all my life as a journalist, and I've worked in my community as an individual who loves to give back, helping people. And so, with my presence in the Secretariat, I want to see a year where all of our chapters, secretariats, are united because I believe when you have a very strong secretariat, you have a very strong union.
Thank you.
Same way applies to when you have a strong chapters, you will definitely have a very strong union. So I'm coming with that skill set to ensure that I give back to my community like I've done over the years, making sure we strengthen the secretariat that we have as a union.
Thank you. Folks in cyberspace, that was Mr. Stephen Bernard Sr., running for the position of Secretary General for Union, and he is on the show maneuver team. Mr. Bernard, thank you for your aspiration. We wish you well in the election. We will see at the battle box, my friend. And
Thank you.
we also want to say a big thank you to Mr. Alex Beza, who is contesting for the position of Eastern Region Vice President. He's currently, if I'm not mistaken, the National Financial Secretary. Is that correct?
Yeah, and the governor of ULAA, the only governor forever.
And he calls himself the governor of ULAA. Gentlemen, we'll take leave of the two of you, Alex and Stephen, and then we'll bring the other teammates in here. Let me bring in Jerry Mansakwe, and we also have Dr. Willie Jala here. Okay, so thanks to the gentlemen for introducing themselves. I think Liberians have seen them, and some who have not seen them will see them later on. Let's come to Alpha Tonga. Welcome again. You are running, seeking re-election for the Northern Region Vice President. Liberians who don't know you will want to know a little more about you and what you think you should be re-elected.
Thank you, Mrs. Sia. Thanks to FOL family for always giving Liberians the opportunity to tell their stories. Your platform really inspired us all. My name is Alpha Tonga, and I'm a resident of the city of Columbus, and I'm the current Northern Regional Vice President for the Union of Liberian Associations in the Americas. I'm out for re-elections, and it is my hope and prayer that the Liberian people vote me for a second term so that I will continue to support the work of the national leadership within the Northern region as it relates to expanding our chapters. Currently, we have Minnesota as an active chapter. We have Ohio as an active chapter. We have Iowa as an active chapter. And we will want to expand the union to other chapters. Chapters that were formerly part of the union, like Michigan, who is no longer part of the union, want to be able to negotiate with them to reinstate their membership. But the first 2 years of my term, I spent a lot of time just understanding the dynamics within the community organizations within this side of the country. I had the opportunity to visit all of my active chapters, listen to their concerns as leaders in terms of what are some of the successes, what are some of the challenges. And we had the opportunity to do our first capacity building training. The capacity building training was a virtual training that we invited all of the active chapter leaders and also those chapters that are not active within the union that's part of this region to just have a conversation about what are some of the things that they're facing in their chapters, how can ULAA better support their chapters, and how we as organizations or community organizations can work together. That town hall was very successful. We had a guest speaker who taught us about women empowerment, how we can leverage the skill sets of the women in our communities to be able to move our communities forward. The work is not done. We spend a lot of time engaging the community, building trust within the region to make sure that we have the opportunity within the next 2 years to close some of those chapters that are anticipated in joining the union. So giving me another 2 years, will allow us to build upon what we've already done. In addition to that, I work closely with the Shehu and Minerva Grant Administration from a national level, supporting both their homeland and their diaspora agenda. I've been a team player to make sure that whatever the administration needs in terms of technical support, I was always there to make sure that those assistance are being provided. I must say, it has been a privilege to work with Honorable Jeshu Kamara Minerva Grant. These leaders that are visionaries. These are leaders that not only support women in leadership, but they support young men and women in leadership. And we when we join their team, we come up with these creative ideas. They tell us, hey, go do your research. As long as you provide the data to support it, just go ahead and do it. And they have been very, very instrumental in shaping us as leaders of this union, or as young community leaders coming up. Outside of the my work with ULAA, I'm a business owner here in the city of Columbus, and also a community leader. I'm the current executive director for the Liberian community here in the city of Columbus. Under our leadership, we had the opportunity to successfully restructure our community organization from a social organization to more of a social service organization. We launched the first Liberian Community Center here in the city of Columbus. Not just a community center that people can go for a party or events, a full-blown community center that have about 5 full-time paid staff. We've managed to develop public and private partnerships to be able to provide services, youth programming, family programming to residents of the city of Columbus, not just not just the Liberian community. So there's the type of leadership skills that I bring on the table, and I'm here to support. And I'm asking the union or members of the union to not just vote for me, but vote for my entire team, so that we'll be able to leverage the opportunities that we've made within the last 2 years. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You heard him there. Afad Tonga, currently serving as the Northern Region Vice President, is seeking re-election, and he asking for the vote of you to re-elect him to continue what he said he started. Said the work is not done here, but he's best suited to get a job done because he knows the terrain. Is he the only one who knows the terrain? Answer that question and vote right. We have Dr. Will Jala also here. Dr. Jala, welcome. How you doing, by the way, sir?
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I'm doing pretty good this Monday. How you doing?
I'm doing well. And Dr. Jala, I understand you are a candidate for the National Financial Secretary. Is that correct, sir?
That's correct. That's correct.
Thank you. And you are on the Shehu Minerva team. Tell your fellow Liberians listening to you now, how are you well and better suited, and why should a delegate choose you over any opponent of yours, and what of a better job you think you would do to serve them better?
Thank you so much. So let me begin by saying there is no other team that I would have been on other than the Shehu and Minerva team. This team has integrity, has accountability, has transparency. This team has moved the nation, meaning ULAA, to a level that it had never been in the past. Complementing the efforts of our predecessors, we have made significant gains both in the United States and in Liberia. A lot of time when I see the video clips from Liberia, when I see my president, Shehu Kamara with the shovel in the Painesville red light, helping to claim Painesville, it just makes tears come out of my eyes. What a humble leader Shehu Kamara is. Currently, I serve as national treasurer of the union. During my first term, we made sure we upheld fiscal responsibility, We ensured that we spend when there was the need to spend. We were not wasteful. We're very accountable to the Liberian people. As we endeavor to go to our second term, ULAA currently has $17,000 in its account, which is one of the biggest amount that ULAA have ever had in their account. So as National Financial Secretary, when elected, I intend to uphold that same standard of accountability, transparency, and safeguarding the assets, including cash, of ULAA. And under the watch of Shehu Kamara Minerva Grant, we believe we can deliver those results in a very positive manner. So for those of you out there in ULAA, Palava Hut, those are you out there in other social media platforms, we say to you, please vote the Shehu Kamara team. This team is the best alternative for ULAA. We've done significant gains in our first term. We believe that in the second term, we'll even do more. So we ask that you please give us a second chance. This team is full of expertise. I'm one of those who don't appear to be braggadocious, but on my wall, in the world of everybody, they know who Will Jala is when it comes to finance. And so they say experienced player does not suffer for justice. So we tend not to give our accolade up. But I'm Will Jala, Dr. Will Jala. I possess a PhD in accounting from one of the prestigious universities in Liberia, Skipela University. And so I bring the financial management aspect to ULAA, and that experience will allow you to be fiscally responsible, accountable, transparent, and safeguarding the assets of ULAA. So folks, Shehu Kamara Minerva Grant team is a team. No other team but that team. Thank you, Mr. Moderator.
Thank you, Dr. Jada, for making your case to our people and giving reasons why they should look your way or come your way and give you an opportunity to serve. And you are betting that your skills are impeccable enough to do a good job for them. I hope they will see it that way and look the other way. Jared Masakwe is also here and running for the position of National Treasurer, the guy who keeps the money. Where does he keep the money? He will tell us today. That's the one I want to know, my man. Welcome, Mr. Masakwe. How you doing, brother?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Thank you for having me. Thank
Okay.
you. Is your name Ansuna?
Ansoni.
Ansuni, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for hosting us. Yeah, so my name is Jared Masakwa, and so I'm new to the ULAA politics, and I was recruited by the president, brought me on board to work alongside. Then he did like a research on all of us before bringing us on board. And like I said, that's what makes him a great leader. He has managed to surround himself with a lot of successful people that will help make ULAA a successful organization and take it to another level. And so I'm a software engineer. I graduated from Tennessee State University. I worked for 12 years in Tennessee before I moved to the East Coast.
Mr. Masakwa, hold on. If you are not speaking, can you mute yourself? There's feedback coming from someone's background. That will help. Go ahead, Mr. Masakwa.
Yeah, but what actually equipped me for this position is because I have been a businessman, entrepreneur for my entire life since age 11. I'm currently owner of two businesses, JMI Logistics and Prototype Information Solutions. And so I know how to handle money. I know how to make money grow. That's something I've been working for a long time with. I have served multiple positions in the community. This is my very first time going national with ULAA, but I currently serve as the vice president for the Bombing Diaspora Association. I also serve as vice president for the POSAC, Pennsylvania Old Timer, and I'm an owner of two businesses, like I said earlier, and other positions that I hold. So one of the ideas that I'm looking at bringing to ULAA, one of the when I look at ULAA structurally, the way it's been operating for the last 49 years, I think there's the president being a visionary will need more money to be able to carry out some of his projects that he intends to make him successful in his last term. So I'm coming on board, hoping that I can bring some ideas that will help ULAA from now on moving forward as treasurer to help to raise money. We did that in our last group, the Sapo, United Sapo Association. We came in, they were doing things the old way, and we decided, look, we can get a machine from Amazon, because I do a lot of work for Amazon too, so I know some of their equipment. So I said, look, we can get a machine from Amazon, and instead of Saponians coming from all over the United States, and some are not able or ready to come for convention, we can manage to register them in their town. So whether they come or not, we already got their money. And so that's one of the ideas I'm looking at bringing to ULAA, where delegates won't come to convention, but they can still register, and in their own time be able to vote, and we can still be able to raise money. So that couple of other ideas, we want to bring to ULAA to be able to revamp the organization, so the organization can grow and move forward. Besides that, I'm somebody that you can trust. A lot of people in the Pennsylvania area that have worked with me when it comes to money. The Pennsylvania old timer will tell you that when I'm left in charge to run the organization, I make sure that every penny is accounted for. And I won't be joining Mr. Shivu Kamara's team if I didn't know the kind of person he was. He's very, very diligent. Mr. Shivu Kamara takes everything very seriously. And so I'm blessed, I'm grateful, I'm thankful to be part of this team. This is one of the best teams that ULAA will ever put up. And I'm hoping that this team just doesn't get limited to just ULAA. This is a team that has a lot of talent that Liberia can tap into.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Jerry Kamara. You heard him. He's a software engineer. He knows about money. You can trust him when it comes to the dollar. The money has always been our problem. You always agree with me. You can't win this debate. And so he said that's why he's bringing, that is his strength, to assist the show team. And he's saying this is a better team for our community. Is that the case? Well, we will know at the end of the counting on election day. At this time, we will take a short break. And when we come back, we will be talking to the two heads, the captain and the co-captain, Mr. J. Show Kamara and Minerva Grant. They won. They say a lot of things. They made promises. They even had a 100-day plan. I have it. It's right here. They know I have it. Yeah, it's there, just for you to see it. We'll look into that. All the things they said, did they accomplish all of them? If not, why are the reason they didn't accomplish some of them? A lot of things they said, website and all that. I will be bringing those things up. They know I will do. And we will talk about those things. Also, they are not going unopposed. We have Mohammed Keita with his able lieutenant, Mix Namwe. These are the two individuals that are challenging them. They will sit with my partner Dennis Jar tomorrow in an exclusive, and I have them today. So we'll look at their records and see whether the Liberian people should give them another opportunity to serve. A short break. When we come back, you will be seeing the national president and his able lieutenant, and we will be talking about what they've done and what they plan to do differently, or maybe more this time around. A short break, and we'll be right back. This is where you see me coming now.
We are Liberia. Liberia is our home.
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis Jar.
And I am Anthony Sier, the host of the Hour of Politics, here to talk ULAA politics with the big political people of ULAA. And we have here, comfortably seated in the hard seat, Kamara, the current national president of the Union of Liberian Association in America. Mr. President, it's good to welcome you again. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. Thank you, Mr. Sier.
All right. His able lieutenant, who he will say has been very able, is our own dear sister, Minerva Grant. Again, welcome. How you doing again? You are muted. Please unmute yourself.
How are you, my brother? Thank you.
I'm doing well. You call me your brother. I'm here to give you a hard time. You have to give account of the months that you have been in power. This is what I call you here.
And that's good, because when your brother gives you hard time, then you know you're coming from a good place.
Okay.
So then you answer.
Yes, that's true. Okay, folks, in cyberspace, I have with me the current president and vice president of ULAA. They have had the opportunity to serve our community for a good number of time, 24 months, about that. And they made promises to us. They have 100 days deliverable. They have a lot of things in there. Have they been able to achieve those things? If yes or no, should we give them the opportunity again as a community? That is why they are here. They want to serve us again. They have opponents. Should the Liberian people choose them again over those who think they can do better? These are the things we'll be talking about. Let's get started. Well, I want to start like this. Your first term, and we'll start with you, Mr. President, this time. Was your first term a success or a failure, or was it a challenge? What is your assessment? How did you do? That's the question I'm asking you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Sier, and the staff of FOL and those of our brethren in cyberspace and Facebook land and YouTube. My first term was a maximum success.
Okay.
And that's how I'll classify it. And I'll wait for further questions.
Okay, you said it was a massive success. So what are the things, ingredients in the massive success? What can you point to amount to massive success?
So, Mr. Sier, thank you so much for asking me that question. When we took over from the union, we, first of all, communication was a challenge.
Okay.
The union has a virtual office that was established in the past by some of our predecessors. Calls that were going to that virtual office were going dead. When we took over today, if I give you our 800 numbers, no call goes dead to ULAA anymore. So
when you say their cause, well, explain that to us.
Well, when we took over, there was a challenge that international organizations and partners people who wanted to do work with ULAA,
right,
were calling the union office, and I mean, you couldn't get any response.
Hey, you saying there will be no one to pick up the phone call and answer?
Well, you wouldn't get any response. So So that was the first thing I would notice. And today,
and you say you have changed that. So answering should make a call. Anyone should make a call tomorrow. Someone will answer the question.
You can even do it now. I can give you the 800 number you call, and it will not go there to the ULAA office.
Does it mean you have an assigned person, waiting for calls?
No, one person will answer. You call the number one will go to the Secretary General. Number two to the Vice President. Number three will come to me as President of the union.
Okay, that's number one. Any other thing you
So,
have?
also of most important, as soon as we're inducted into office, we realized the Liberian Refugee Immigration Fairness Act that was
Right.
passed by Donald Trump. We realized that because of the COVID, 30% of Liberians out of 100, out of 100%, only 30% of the individuals who were supposed to benefit this Fairness Act apply. And because of the COVID, some of them didn't even get no response. Sometimes because of $1, because of just $1, some of them, their papers were returned. So we amassed a major immigration summit by undocumented Black community acting together and some other professional lawyers, including immigration professionals who came together, and the result of that precipitated to led to us having Call Your Congressman Day. Congressman Day was on December 10th, that we distributed all of the information for individuals to call their congressman. And
So
the impact of that.
what percentage are you now? Because you said when you took over.
Well, the percentage where we are today was that is now a case-by-case basis, but we did call an attention and highlighted the immigration and all other,
but
everybody else.
Can you quantify how many Liberians, because of your intervention, when I say your administration intervention, who successfully completed their application and having legal status today? Did you quantify that? Do you know the number?
No, I mean, not necessarily, because
So then how can you measure a success, Mr. Shield?
No, it's a success because we call attention. We call attention to the process.
So you are saying, oh, Anthony is sick, even though you didn't take him to the hospital, that's success. Is that right? Is that what I'm hearing?
No, not necessarily.
Okay, go ahead.
Not necessarily. All I'm saying to you was that when we came in, we realized that 30% of Liberians had applied for this LRIF.
Yes, out of the 100%.
And we call attention. We call attention to the problem that existed. And we brought in immigration lawyers and other things, and that edified Liberian owning and getting their status.
And Mr. Shield, I understand that. That's a beautiful piece of job. You did that. Now you are saying that effort marks one of the massive success in your words that you have chosen. In order for us, because it was at 30%, you intervened. Where did you move it? That's what I want to see. That's where I have an idea that, oh, she will take it from 30% to 90%. I can consider that as a success. But you
the stories we're getting is that people are going case by case basis and getting their status of immigration.
I will repeat my question. How many number of Liberians now, after your intervention, have applied and succeeded? You don't have a number?
I think significantly we can put out 75% or 80%, sir.
Okay. I would take that. Let me bring in your able lieutenant here, Manevra, again. I can welcome you.
I haven't finished in terms of quantifying all of the successes.
Okay, Mr. President, I apologize. Go ahead, sir.
So beside the LRIF, the next thing we did was the engagement component, and you were talking about a 100-year plan.
Right.
Okay. So that engagement component, we successfully was able to reconcile the Trenton Liberian Community Association in New Jersey back to the union.
Okay.
Yeah, that was lying 10 years. Even some of the people who were coming to oppose us were members of the board of directors, and Trenton was not reconciled to the union. And we also brought in Arizona. And then we also enhanced and rebranded the Liberian Diaspora Initiative Fund, which
Mr. President, let's do it this way. How many DARE chapters you met that you resurrected, and how many new chapters did your administration add?
Well, there were several DARE chapters. For example, the Liberian Association of Massachusetts and of course Michigan is one, and Rhode Island.
Okay.
We did reach out to Rhode Island. We did reach out to Massachusetts. We did reach out to Michigan. Those talks are still ongoing. But we resurrected Trenton, New Jersey, and we brought in the Liberian Association of Arizona. So that's a major achievement. Then also the Liberian Diaspora Initiative Fund, which was previously the Diaspora Development Fund, we also amplified and enhanced it. And we went to Liberia for the first time to put foot in our homeland and remove the solid waste with the Pittsville City Corporation. And of course, today we are providing remuneration to people who are helping their country. So those are some of the gains that we made. And also the dual citizenship. I was in Liberia.
And before we get to the dual citizenship, Mr. President,
you asked me here, you say, list your successes.
And I know, and I want to also, ask some questions along there so that Liberians following, so you to provide clarity as well. I heard when your team made a trip to Liberia, the sanitation issue and trying to help there. I want you to be as clear as possible. The significant contribution and the intervention that you made with that campaign of cleaning the city, what are the specific things that you did? Money, logistics, just about everything. Tell us what you did specifically.
Oh, well, we did work with Mayor Taylor and the excellent team that I have, Afatonga and the rest of the teammates that you see today who espouse on the ability and the work that they've been doing. So as a result of that, we did the Pittsville City Corporation. They provide some of the manpower, but ULAA provided the shovels and many other things. In fact, now we're even paying people who are manning the tricycles to pick up dirt, in our community. So in terms of monetary value, ULAA has spent a little over $6,000, to the city corporation just to make sure, because cleanliness is next to godliness.
So, Mr. President, if you don't mind here, thank you for the intervention. We all need to help in our own individual ways to help clean our cities. You're right. Cleanliness is next to godliness. If the communities are clean in Liberia, our people will not be subjected to these curable diseases, right? So they thought alone, I welcome that. You are a big organization. You telling me you have had massive success, and you are telling me you spent a little over $6,000 as your contribution to cleaning that city of Pittsville. Is that massive?
Oh, of course. I mean, this is the first time that ULAA. So, first of all, the LDIF, Liberian Diaspora Initiative Fund, is an embodiment of a huge project. Okay, that focus on health, education, other new ideas. So while we were thinking about that, and of course opening a diaspora office in Liberia, which is still a plan that we have to,
Any success with that yet? The diaspora?
No, we haven't been able to. No, we didn't succeed on that, but it's a plan. Is one reason why we want to get re-elections so that we can open a diaspora office.
So just to be clear, Mr. President, a little over $6,000 you contributed to the effort. You provided shovels. Any other tools that you provided to help beside the shovels?
Oh, well, we provided manpower. We're paying, like I said, remuneration, which is not pay, but we're providing like a little honorarium to people who are manning, the tricycles in Liberia, which is currently ongoing for the next 6 months.
All right. Yeah, you say you wanted to enumerate all your successes. Anything else you want to mention?
The dual citizenship.
Yeah, let's talk about the dual citizenship. What role, what contribution specifically did you make as a union that led to the passage of that bill? And today we are hearing that we have dual citizenship in Liberia.
So as president of the union, I went to Liberia on May 12, 2022. And lobby with Emineweti and other prominent members of the union. And we're on full scale However, at some point in time, we realized that there were two conferences, one from the House and one from the Senate. When it came to that point, I personally, as national president, had to extend my trip to Liberia. And if I didn't extend that trip, the dual citizenship, the benefit today would not have come. So I had.
So can you tell us the power players you have to talk to, lobby with, and the institutions you have to engage as a union to make this happen?
You asking me?
I'm asking you. That's
Oh
what
yeah.
I
Significantly, the Speaker of the House,
okay,
the Senate Pro Tem, and other key senators in the Senate and the House of Representatives also, and the Secretary of the Senate, and of course the advisor even for the President of Liberia was very helpful in the process of getting the dual citizenship bill, which you know we celebrated on March 25th of this year.
All right. I would take that you went, you lobbied, you talked to institutions and power players in Liberia, and you are saying you helped to sway their vote and their decision in that direction. Any other thing you wish to talk about before we bring in Ms. Grant?
Well, what I'm saying to you is that the work that we've done for this union, including rebranding of the entire communication system that I referred to today, we have a young lady, I think for the first time in ULAA history, that is providing enormous work to this union. And she has rebranded ULAA to the point where we have men's crutch, which she brings on Mondays, and then women crutch on Wednesdays. And we had 5 successful town hall conferences. Some of the town hall conferences are being mainly embodying women issues, barriers, menstrual cycle, and we've even had some of the finest minds like Nikita Ricks of Colorado, you know, Councilor Bromskin Ricks in New York. So we brought the union closer to the Liberian people. And in addition to that, we have also been very visible in most of the ULAA chapters, encouraging them, helping them, and in fact, we've even opened a ULAA chat room, you know, for ULAA chapters alone. So we're doing everything else to bring the union closer to the Liberian people.
All right, Mr. President, let me ask you further on the rebranding. You didn't give me much. What are the specific things, or maybe I should bring them in, right? Because I have them here. For example, Mr. President, in your effort, you talk about the where I have it. Okay, project management system, content management system, document management system, email marketing system, accounting and financial software. So these are things you promised that you will bring to bear to make the institution, to make the union effective. Where are you with those promises that you made?
Oh yeah, the email marketing system today, ULAA president does not use his own email address anymore. And the entire communication system has ULAA communication. All emails that come to me are not individualized anymore, and the ULAA communication is being managed by a team of experts.
Okay.
Today, I'm very sure you researched that. We have a very viable website that is up to date and we have a Facebook posting that is up to date. These are achievements that I can boast of, because prior to this leadership, those things were lacking. Those things were lacking.
And what's about the legal status of ULAA? Because in your 100-day plan, that's one of the things you mentioned. I think it was your social services arm that had some form of 501c3, but as an institution, you had nothing like that. Where are you with that, Mr. President?
Well, the thing about it is that the legal system, there's so just my administration made all efforts, but we have a tripartite system in the union, and that tripartite system, if you reduce it, will be two, and that would be the board of directors and the national administration.
Mm-hmm.
So there were some breaches there between working some of those details out with the national board of directors, and I don't even want to go further with that, but there's other things that we wanted to see, and it didn't happen. For example, because this is election year, and I know you're going to be hosting.
You are campaigning, so
right. Your next yes. But for example, we did send a budget to the National Board of Directors in January. Then we also follow up again in February. That budget was never approved. Then they asked us to do a remainder budget, which was in March, only for inauguration. But one incredible thing that, as a national president, I want to be very emphatic about, that I was very, very disappointed about. Some of the finest minds did interview individuals for positions. Some of them are even in your own state. And these people accepted to do and to volunteer their services. This current board of directors, and of course the other candidate, were part of it in sabotaging all of those efforts. And those people, up to today, many of them were never confirmed in those roles. And that is so disappointing for a volunteer role.
Mr. President, money is key, is the lifeblood of any modern day institution, more so one in the US, and that has this ambition of going to Liberia to solve problems, because in your 100-day deliverables, one of the things you say you want to be solving problems, you want to provide solutions to issues not only here in the diaspora, but also in Liberia. And you can't do any of those things without money or contact. So my question is, I see here you have on your website, one of the good things you did, and I also want to commend your team for building a website that represents the union. I can say that without any hesitation. You guys have done a phenomenal job with your website. I'm big with website. This is the modern day. So here I see ULAA Emergency Relief Fund, Liberian Diaspora Initiative Fund, chapter dues, and so on and so forth. And you have that. People can pay their dues and contribute on their website. Is that correct?
Well, the thing is, the setting of our website is basically first of all, ULAA is chapter based. ULAA is chapter based. So when we're talking about dues, will be from the chapter to the union, not individual members paying dues to the union.
So how are you doing with raising funds? I remember when there was your inauguration and there was a fundraising aspect tied into it. There was $100,000 promise made by one Nathaniel McGill, and it was reported that if you were to receive that money, that would have been the biggest amount to be received by ULAA in its history. And I felt disappointed as an individual. What? This big organization have not been able to raise $100,000? then no wonder why they may not be able to achieve much. My question is, how much have you been able to raise for the 22 plus months that you have served? You have to raise money, my man.
Yeah. So the union, first of all, has had ongoing projects, and the diaspora fund we're talking about that we contributed $6,000. That have been individual donations and other donations from philanthropic and other people. So again, that's one of the challenge we have, and it's going to be something that we want to continue. But let me just say this to you.
So, but Mr. President, on the issue of
right. Let me say this.
Raising funds, right?
Yeah.
Let me land with my question here on the issue of raising funds, because on the overall, you say you have massive success, and I am looking. You're not even giving me an estimated dollar amount in terms of how much you're being able to raise. Maybe you're not even brave enough to say that because it'll be negligible, right? So, how much have you been able to raise? You are a big institution.
So Mr. C, when I took over, when I took over,
yeah, I know you have.
I met a little over $9,000,
and now you have 17. So that's a massive success there.
I mean, the thing is an incremental, plus. Okay, so mind you now, the $6,000 I was spending in Liberia and other expenses that have been made is not even part of that $17,000. So that is a challenge. That is a challenge, and it's going to, again, as an organization, we still, it's still a niche that we will be able to enhance for the next administration. But we met $9,000 plus. And now we have $17,000. But it was $23,000 before even the $17,000.
All right, Mr. President, folks in cyberspace, we are watching Focus on Liberia. This is Our Politics with me, Anthony C. We have in studio in the Hasi, Kamara, current ULAA National President, along with his able Lieutenant Vice President of the Union, Ms. Minerva Grant. They have had the time to serve. We are looking at what they've been able to accomplish based on the promises they made. They talk about their 100 days deliverable. Ms. Grant, let's start with where we stop with your boss, the president. The money issue. I know it has been a challenge, and I'll be very fair here. Very, very fair. This is what Focus on Liberia has always done. Every administration before you has not been able to raise any significant money. And as a result, nothing significant has been done. All right. And now you are here. Your president is saying you have had massive success across the board. To take it from 9,000 to 22, and now you have 17 in there. Will you consider that as massive?
Well, Mr. Sia, I would consider that a massive if we explain what happened. Okay, if I get add on what the president said.
Please do.
And like you said, it is hard for especially Liberian organizations, especially the big one, to make money like that. Because when you look at ULAA financial structure, the way it was built, meaning we depend on the chapters paying dues, and we having maybe inauguration board or convention. There where ULAA initially were getting money from. And whatever we had there, remember now, last year we had convention, which we end up losing. We have money, but the convention, we never made money when we went to Atlanta, Georgia. Unfortunately, we never had people to come to support. The person that we put in charge did not do a good work. And so we end up losing, and ULAA went into the red. And then we make almost, because our inauguration, we made something like 20,000, but because of the 9,000 we met in the caucus, we had to use some money for the inauguration. So when you take out the amount we use for the inauguration, whatever later we build on that, okay? So, and we depend on ULAA chapters to pay their dues, which that's something we need to continue working on to encourage them to pay their due, because if they don't come to convention, they usually don't pay unless the following convention they come to then they pay, especially you get them will come mainly when elections time. So
Ms. Grant, if I may hear, from your end as the leadership, will you say you have done everything in your power to raise the necessary revenue needed to run the institution to do the things you want to do? You think you have satisfactorily play your part to raise money, and is that maybe the people you were looking up to did not come true? Is that what it is?
I won't say we have done everything in our power. We have tried. We have tried.
So you came
And
to try, or you came to do it?
we need to do it. But like I said, when with ULAA financial structure,
Mhm,
we mainly depend on our chapter to pay the dues
mhm.
for operational costs.
Right.
We mainly depend on conventions for operational costs. And
Mhm,
then when we get to inauguration, we
mhm,
do fundraising
mhm,
to do other when like I would take example with us because of the L draft program we had,
mhm.
we did a fundraising during our inauguration.
Right.
Remember now, whatever money that people pledge, that people put down,
Mhm.
that money was not for ULA operational costs. It went towards that program.
Madam Vice President, that is true. You live in the greatest country on earth, the most richest country.
Yeah.
The philanthropists here,
Hmm.
the organizations here that are giving money,
Yeah.
writing grant. You are aware, you know of places to go to raise money.
Yeah.
You know that we have always relied on dues, and dues have never gotten anywhere.
That's true.
So you came to change that.
Yeah.
I don't think you should be relying on dues.
Okay, let me tell
You
you,
will
we
not
keep.
raise money. So the question here is, in your first administration, it
Mhm.
is clear now that you did not raise significant money outside of ULA when you
Okay.
have the opportunity to do so.
Yes,
Why should we now trust you that you will go outside of ULA, tap into other sources of raising revenue for the institution to make money?
I sent to trust us.
Mhm,
Like the president said,
mhm,
ULA, our social service
mhm,
committee is
mhm,
the one that have the 501c that will go out there because the
mhm,
program specified that they go out there, do grant
mhm.
writing and
Right.
raise money. Okay.
Right.
When we got into power, the board of directors decided to fight the administration. I would say fight
Mhm,
to take that organize that committee from under the executive for it to be under the board of
mhm,
directors.
mhm,
And we had to tell them no, the constitution doesn't state that.
mhm.
The constitution states that committee be under the executive. And because of that, the board of directors, and I will tell you, especially the leadership on the
Mhm,
board of directors, which our opponent is part of the leadership. He's the co-chairman of the board, the second co-chairman of the board. So the leadership cannot make decision, bring it down to the other board of directors. Then they held on to all our people. We sent our nominates. We sent to them to confirm. They decided not to confirm those people, especially the people that were part of the social service. You live in Minnesota. I will tell you one of them, you know how bad she can work. Mrs. Georgia Gray. Georgia Gray was part of that. You know what Georgia Gray can do. You know what work she done in Minnesota with OLM. She was very excited. We had one Nessa McKay from Columbus, very, very excited. Title Bronskin, very excited. I mean, Councilor Bronskin, great, very excited, willing to volunteer their services. But because the board of directors, including our opponent, Mr. Mamadi and Mr. Keita, that now say he running against us, they decided not to confirm these people.
Miss
But when,
Rand?
1 minute, but when
Mhm,
we got the last time we were going for convention, and they knew that people were going to ask questions, that's the time they started to run through the confirmation hearing, which
Thank you.
most of the people were just tired. These people are volunteering their time. It is,
Thank you.
yeah.
And Madam Vice President, I just want to ask quickly here. I know you agree with Show, the president, that you have massive success. All right. And my job here is to give you the opportunity to explain yourself. So you explain your success side. It's Liberian people that, were listening to you with George, right? But in life, we don't always succeed.
That's true.
We always have failures.
Mhm.
Are there failures, or can you say you have some failure in some areas? And if yes, and you are prepared to state them, what will you do differently to not have to fail in those areas again?
Well, I would talk because when we talk over, Mr.
Mhm,
President Shehu put me in place of the engagement and
mhm.
conflict resolution.
Okay.
So we have success, and I won't call it failure. I will call it challenges.
Okay. So what would
Yeah.
narrate the challenges, please?
Okay. Some of the challenges were bringing other communities, other chapters into the union.
The union. Okay.
Yes. Some of the chapters, and I will tell you, like Las Vegas, Nevada,
Mhm, mhm,
they knew about the union. And I will give a big credit to Mr. Steve Foley. He told them when he joined, the president for Arizona, that,
mhm.
oh, you guys need to join the union. But
And
one of the
I was there for inauguration, right?
yes, we were
Okay.
there together.
Mhm,
But one of the things that then most of them had this old history about the union.
mhm.
Some people feed them with negative things about the union. So they wanted to know what we can do, what are we doing. Some of them the youth never knew that, oh, do we have ULA in the Americas? And so educating them about it took time. It took time. So that was the challenge with the ones I wanted to bring. The
Mhm.
old chapters, most of the leaders were not ready. Those old chapters that left, most of the leaders were not ready to engage the union. They were not ready. So we have
Madam
to
Vice President, we may agree that one of the challenges, as you pull it, and not failures, will be bringing the young people on board. And so
oh
let's talk about that. You that there has been this perception that, oh, ULA is an old people institution. The young people not involved. There's not even a youth arm, and so on and so forth. How did you do with bringing young Liberians to the ULA?
well, I would say we did good because like the president said, we get this young, talented lady they call Tanette
Mhm,
and Washington, Chris
mhm,
Washington. And she took the secretariat to a higher level. We if we were just depending on people that were elected to run that part of the union, we're not going to be here talking about success with our secretariat and position. But when she came in, she did. No email went with all people answering. Every time you send
and you are talking about an individual, or maybe there might be another one. So maybe you're talking about individuals here.
I
But
thought
is
yeah,
there a
another one.
program?
We have
Is there a program that you have in place? Is there a department? Is there something specifically within Yola that attracts young people and gives them the opportunity to be involved with Yola and maybe leave from there to climb the ladder? Do you have anything like that in place?
we right now, to be frank, we don't have any program or let's say a structure there to say, all right, this is where the youth can go
Mhm,
and get involved. But what we get individuals
mhm,
that go out there and tap into those youth that they are friendly way into the young adults to be
mhm,
part of ULA. And we get this other person they call Joseph Swar.
mhm.
Anytime we have in our program, he bring in young people. He helped to organize the program too. So we hoping, and when we are re-elected, we are going to bring in more youth. And again, like I say, ULA is a chapter base. So what we're going to do is to tap into our chapter, into the leadership there, to encourage them because we can't just go into a chapter and take youth bump. We gotta know too if that youth is active in a chapter. You
Okay.
understand? You
Mhm.
gotta be active in a chapter to be active with ULA. So we make all those. So we are going to tap into the leadership there to encourage them to bring youth into their programs that youth take over. So tomorrow, when we say, hey, Minnesota, we having this youth program, what the youth you get there or the young adult you get there to come and be part of this program, they're able to recommend people because we can't just take anybody from a chapter when you're not active in your chapter or you're not paying dues in your chapter. You have to do those things to be part of ULAA.
All right. Folks in cyberspace, if you are watching us, this is Focus on Liberia on the Hour of Politics. Sitting with me, Joshua Kamara, National President, ULAA, and also his able Lieutenant Ms. Minerva Grant. She is the National Vice President. They are running again and they are seeking your vote. They are talking to delegates to give them another opportunity. They have the time to serve us, and we are trying to look into what they've been able to do. According to them, they have massive success, and I'm trying to find that massive success, and I'm sure you are with me as we find it. Did you see it? Are you seeing it? They have an opponent. I mean, they have opponents, by the way, to put it right, and the opponent, they have their own opportunity to talk to us tomorrow. Dennis Jam, my partner, will be here to have an exclusive with them. Let me get back to you now. This is campaign time. You have your opponent. If you are saying, choose me again, more than likely, you might be the better side. So, Mr. President will bring you back into the hot seat. Somebody won the job. It's obvious the person might be thinking that you didn't do a better job. How are you better suited? What will you do differently? Are there new plans you have on the table? Are you sticking to your 100-day deliverables? What different are you bringing this time?
Thank you, Mr. C. Like I said, our success story are very clear and they are candid.
Okay.
Yeah. We came in and arrested the Liberian Refugee Immigration Fairness Act that was lying in ruin, and it only had 30% of Liberians who had applied for it. And we did follow that up by providing a brochure and information as to how people can contact their congressman. And we think at this point there was a success, more than that 30%. We also rerouted the entire and created a very robust communication, platform for the union. And that has led to us today, no calls go unanswered. We have a very vibrant communication team. We did have like 5 virtual, summits, for the union. And of course, we were able to put foot in Liberia by creating the Liberian Diaspora Initiative Fund, which we put in a lot of resources. And then, of course, we brought the dual citizenship. Liberians now today can travel on their green card to go to Liberia. And these are massive success as far we are concerned. So what we're going to be doing differently will be out of country voting, to open the diaspora office in Liberia. And of course, you are asking and questioning the vice president about, money and other things. But the thing is that I know that we are convinced that the Liberian Diaspora Initiative Fund, by the time we are re-elected, we will have a manager, and that manager will be able to create some of the grants and other things that we were looking forward to. We didn't have success. We didn't have success on those things because the board undermined some of the efforts that we put forward to them.
So, Mr. President, your 100-day deliverables, did you achieve all of the things you listed?
No, we didn't achieve all of it. One of the challenges we actually had was the second layer, which was the assessing the policy and procedure. which we'll still have to, look at in our next, term. Hopefully, we're going to get elected. But, sir, let me just say this to you. All of these,
Mr. President, those were things you said in 100 days you achieved them.
right?
Yeah, you are here, and I appreciate the honesty to be frank, right? I appreciate
Right.
that, and
Right.
we all should do that. We
Right.
should know that we are humans. We should all have ambition. We can all have goals, and we don't achieve them. Sometimes the time frame we want to achieve them. That is not a failure, right? But the fact is, you said to us you were going to achieve these things in 100 days, and
Right.
you didn't achieve them. But let me ask something specific here. In your plan, you said you were to achieve advocacy, effectiveness, inclusiveness, outreach, and almost transparency. The last one is where I want you to dwell. Are you as transparent as you promised you would with your finances? Do you
Oh,
give
yes, yes,
financial
yes.
reports?
I'm
Are
happy.
your reports on your website for Liberians to see? Are you transparent?
Well, the transparency is that, let me take you back. In 2021,
Mhm,
when we went to the convention, the assembly in Ohio,
mhm.
we didn't even have an assembly.
Okay,
There were no financial report.
okay.
There was a little over $9,000 that was, turned over to us.
Mhm.
But when we went to the Georgia convention in 2022, we made a full report, a full financial report that, in fact,
Mhm.
the motion to adopt that financial report was made by the opponent you'll be asking tomorrow.
So are you saying that your financial records are public records for the Liberians that you serve?
Well, yes. I mean, our chapter leaders are the one that we are accountable to.
Okay.
Right. So, and then this year, I submitted my first quarter and second quarter report that is before the National Board of Directors for review.
All right.
So that is something that we didn't meet,
Mhm.
right? First of all, there were no financial report giving us, but we made a financial report to the National Convention for the 8th General Assembly, and we'll be making another financial report again this year. So
Thank
that's
you.
utmost transparency.
Thank you. And Madam Vice President, why are you offering this time that your opponents are not offering, for which you think you are the better side here? Unmute yourself, please.
Well, I am going to continue offering what I started with Mr.
Okay.
Kamara,
Mhm.
working hard for my community,
Mhm.
transparency,
Mhm.
listening to my community,
Mhm.
doing what they want us to do. I mean, we people know what I have done with Mr. Show Kamara empowerment, empowering me to do it. We set up an engagement committee, like I said, and
Mhm.
I deliver. My team and myself deliver. You call any chapter leader right now and say, if you call Madam Grant, be it 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, does she answer her phone? They will tell you yes. And even if she doesn't, she will call you back. I'm in contact with all the chapter leaders every month. My team and myself, the engagement team and myself work, and we'll continue working to bring in more chapters. And even the chapters that are not active, we are going to go in there and see what best and how best we can make them active. We are not going to be people that they gave you work and you just can't do it, but you want to get elevated. No. We all know this is a volunteering thing. Community service is voluntary, but you got to make up your mind to do it. It's not just because I want the position. Liberian people around America, Liberian people in Minnesota, where you are, they know me. They know what Madam Grant can do. And I guess the Liberian people in ULAA know what I can do. When I say I will do this, I do it. I am not going to take position and sit back. No. Mr. Kamara, people say, oh, we see you. What happened to Mr. Kamara? Because Mr. Kamara empower us. He said, you do this, you do that. He don't just sit and say, oh, I will do everything. No. And when he empower you, he check up on you. Some of our people left us because they ain't able to work. They left us because they don't able to work. But we, our team, Mr. Kamara, myself, and the ones that left with us and the ones that are coming in, the new one that are coming in, we're going to do more than what our opponent are saying they would do. The thing about it, I will tell you, and when you come, you say we have to run campaign right now. The man are running against Mr. Kamara, he's on the board. So if all these things are going out saying, oh, no transparency, and we get money, we got money from Liberia, you on the board. You the second person to the chairman of the board. If those things happening, did you ask for record? Did you talk to the chairman, say we need, oh, I forget, they don't even have meeting on the board like that. Did you call the chairman, say, hey, we need to have meeting, we need to ask the this executive, what are they doing with our money? Did you call the financial people to show a financial report? No. So what make you think you can do it now if you become president? The vice president, Kennedy, she's president is our secretary, the general secretary. But when last did she write a press release? When last did she write a press release on behalf of the union? When last did she even look into her own? You know, the good thing the communication team did, everybody has the president said, everybody has their own email addresses with your name and ULAA. But I would challenge her to tell me when last she opened, if she ever opened that email address. So my people, my Liberian people, we don't want ULAA. We have carried ULAA and we will continue to carry ULAA. ULAA has come this far. We are built on our past leaders and we will continue building on them. Mr. Shehu Kamara and this thing have a lot to do. Y'all want transparency? Y'all will get it. Y'all will continue getting it. The chapter say, oh, we don't get a financial report. We don't put our financial report is not on our website. But all the chapter leaders, they wanted, they will get it. The thing about a ULAA board of directors are made out of chapters. Chapters send the board leaders on the board the board members on the board to represent. So any information that comes from there, they should be able to give it to the chapters. And the financial report goes to them. It goes to them. So they know that. So I would tell people, come September 16, come Philadelphia, vote for the right thing. And the right thing is Shehu Kamara, Minerva Grant, and the rest of the people that you saw here running. We will continue doing great for ULAA and we will continue engaging and advocating for our people both in the Americas and in Liberia. We have given them dual citizenship. We call everybody, not only ULAA alone, we have other organizations that part of Liberian diaspora. Come, let us do all of state voting. It's not an easy thing. It's expensive. ULAA have the European, Liberian people in Europe, the people in Ghana, they were part of the dual citizenship and committee. They help, but it is expensive. So everybody, y'all want the all of state voting, you don't come. Y'all get on board.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was the voice of the National Vice President, Ms. Minerva Grant, running for re-election and staying with the Shehu Grant team. She's saying you can count on her. She answers the phone. This is a voluntary job. You have to decide to do it. There's no pay, and she has been in the trenches doing it. She's everywhere. Mr. Shehu Kamara is the president running for re-election. Mr. President, we have come almost to the end. You are running for re-election. The camera is yours now to speak into it. Liberians have their eyes on you. You narrated your story, what you've been able to do, challenges that you had. Why should they now choose you again over your opponent who is saying he wants your job? Speak to us. It's the time to make your campaign pitch now, which is your closing argument. Why Shehu Kamara should be re-elected?
Thank you, Mr. CA. And I just want to thank you and the folks on Focus on Liberia. And Madam Vice President, thank you so much for buttressing this our presentation tonight, and my colleagues who were on earlier. This team has worked enormously. We started off immediately after induction by meeting every Thursday, and for 2-3 hours. The only time we even stopped and put a pause to meeting was around November, when the vice president was bereaved, and we continued. We did all of that to create a framework, Mr. CA, that you were trying to present to us, the 100-day plan and some of the success story that we are making. We have been able to represent you, Liberians, when it came to immigration. You saw us on November 27. And then an aging chapter conflict that was lying 10 years with 3 other presidents who did their best. This administration was able to resolve it in a very, very short period of time. And thanks to the vice president and her team. Then we created and enhanced the Diaspora Development Fund with the Liberian Diaspora Initiative Fund. And then we brought new talented young people, Miss Danette Washington, who in fact amplified all of the women issue by having 5 virtual conferences. In fact, one of the major conferences was with men. They discussed men issue. So ULAA has been able to encompass all of the things that diaspora Liberians look forward to. We want you to trust us. And of course, we went through the hard work of Emineweti and other people in the diaspora. You now have dual citizenship. We are looking forward to out-of-country voting. We are looking forward to improving the secretariat and the work that we've begun. Do not listen to the stories of where somebody has been sitting on their hands for all these years. They have policy decisions to make, but they couldn't make them. But now they're telling you that we are able to give you, new hope. That new hope would have been done yesterday. You can't sit on a boat for over 10 years, sit on your hands, the same positions. And of course, you choose a vice president who we don't even know. We don't even know. So you cannot take the union back into the dark days. The union has been moving forward, and Liberian people have seen it. We want to continue the projects that we started off with this awesome, awesome team. We want to make and continue to make the union better.
He said they want to make the union better, and so you can count on them again. Joshua Kamara seeking re-election along with his team to continue on what they started. They say, this is how we will come to the end of this edition. You can join us tomorrow, where the other team, that is the Mohammed Keita and Miss Namwe team, will be here to make their case to the Liberian people, why they are best suited to unseat the Shehu Grand team. The Union of Liberian Association in America is the umbrella organization for Liberians here in the United States and the entire diaspora. Have they succeeded with anything? They have been more about advocacy. Now they're trying to go into programs that will not only benefit Liberians here, but also in Liberia. The institution, the way it was envisioned, supposed to do so much good for us as a community. But there have been challenges. And these leaders come and go, continue to confront these challenges. One of the major things that I've seen as I continue to observe and follow them is the issue of raising money. Deals have not gotten us there. And I want to urge the leaders that there's so much money here. They can raise millions. And that is the task I want them to focus on. If they get the money, they will get a job done. If they can't get the money, I don't care how good they are, how the plans can be fine. They would not get a job done. And sometimes if you get the money, if you don't manage the money well, you will not also get the job done. This is how we will come to the end of this edition. We'll catch you tomorrow when Daniel Jazz will be here to sit with the other thing as we listen to these leaders make the case why they should be chosen for our umbrella organization, ULAA. The song that closes the broadcast says, "We are all Liberians." Shehu is, Minerva is, the other team members, they are, and they want to represent our umbrella organization. Until we see you again, and again, when we do, you know the name. Anthony Sie, my name is Moran Sie, my name is Blood Sie. I will leave it there and play the song for you. We are all Liberians. We'll catch you when we do again. Thank you and bye-bye.
We are Liberians.